All right, gentlemen. Speaking of which, we're moving on to our beloved New York Jets NFL draft. Can you use the move button? You button there, buddy.
Didn't I? I thought I did.
No, you didn't.
I got the thing. I thought I went down. Did it not work?
That's okay.
Oh, damn. I'm sorry. Is this not
That's
working?
okay.
That's a problem then because I don't have
That's okay.
another
You can
mute
also
button.
do it on StreamYard too. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
All right. I'm going to switch over to doing it that way then.
There you go. All right. So after all that, let's move on to our beloved New York Jets and let's talk about their draft night. Let's start with pick 4, round 1. The New York Jets select Ahmad Sauce Gardner, cornerback, Cincinnati. Dan, I know you're ready to speak your mind already, so I'll let you go first on this one. What was your reaction to this pick?
Oh, I was thrilled, man. I was thrilled. I mean, I didn't really know if they would have taken Sauce this high. I'm glad they did because Sauce was my number 2 overall prospect that I had in this draft. I mean, the kid is insane. I mean, his college film is incredible. He's so sticky, he's so fluid, he's so technically sound. He just gets a little grabby at times, but I mean that's something that can be coached out of him. I mean he's as close to a perfect CB as a cornerback prospect as you can really realistically hope for to come out of college, and at 6'3", 190 with the arm length that he has. I think he's got like 30, almost 34-inch arms. And
yeah, he's a monster for a corner.
His wingspan is like something like 80 inches. Like it's just crazy. Like he's got so much length and he's so fluid and his footwork is incredible. And I mean, he's going to be locked down. I mean, the kid's going to be shut down. I mean, he's probably going to be a slightly above average league corner just to start his rookie year. And I imagine by year 3, we're going to be talking about Sauce as probably one of the top 3 cornerbacks in the league. He's that good, and I was thrilled to grab him. He was my guy. I mean, I love Sauce, but I realistically thought they were going to try and go edge as hard as possible.
Yeah,
and at number 4, so I didn't think that Sauce was truly going to be in play for the Jets. So kudos to Joe Douglas and the whole Jets staff for keeping their interest in Sauce under wraps as hard as they did, because we didn't start hearing the Sauce of the Jets chat until about 48 hours before that draft. So, that was fantastic. I love the pick. Absolutely loved him. I can't wait. Can't wait to see him in green and white.
Kyle?
Yeah, I especially love bringing him in because they also signed Cincinnati's defensive coordinator, correct? What position will he be? What will he be doing for the Jets, Dan? Do you know?
I think they brought in Cincinnati's DB to be our – what did they bring him in to be? I think he's like the assistant coach to the DBs or something along those lines.
Gotcha.
He's not
Tony Oden?
Tony Oden is the coach.
Okay.
I think he's like the assistant to like Tony Oden or something along those lines. But either way, I mean, to have the continuity to come in there like that too will only help. So I mean, it was a home run gigantic pick, a massive A+ for the player, the prospect, and the level of talent he's gonna instill in the secondary.
For sure. And like both of you guys, I thought they were going KT for sure. And then once I saw Stingley get picked at number 3, I was like, I think this might actually make them go corner, unless they already planned on it. Obviously, it seemed like they already planned on it, but I thought it made more sense for them to go corner at number 4 with Stingley gone, because more edge rushers were left for number 10 if that were the case. Like if they, you know what I mean? There were more edge rushers left for number 10 if that's what they wanted to do with that. But I thought it made more sense.
It's very interesting to try and, if we tried to play the hypothetical game, like had Sauce gone instead of Stingley, who would the pick be? Because word on the street was it wouldn't have been Kayvon Thibodeau. So you got to think that if Walker, Hutch, and Sauce were actually gone at that point, I don't think they would have went Stingley. I don't think they would have taken the chance on his injury history. I think we would have been talking about Icky right here. Honestly, I really do. But I mean,
Icky or Neal.
I don't think the JJ talk was that serious at 4, but who else would it have been?
I don't think they would have taken a receiver at 4.
That's what I mean. Like,
no,
I personally
or they would have traded down.
If
You
somebody
gotta
would have traded up, though.
you gotta assume somebody would have wanted the spot. So
I did see,
I think they would have wanted to trade down.
yeah, I did see that Salah confirmed that, and who knows, this could be just him saying this after the fact, but he did say that if the Falcons took Garrett Wilson, that they were definitely going JJ at number 10. So they had JJ ranked above the rest of the wide receivers in the class.
Yeah, I saw that. I did read that too. That was fascinating to think.
Yeah, for me, I was I was a little nonplussed at first because I figured, all right, well, they're doing what they're doing the Joe Douglas thing, they're taking the best player that was available. Now I don't know if Stingley was on their radar or KT was. I mean, KT was definitely on their radar, but they had Johnson ranked over him, so they go over with the ranking system. But the more I thought about it, and the more I just kind of looked over at social media and reactions from other fans and reactions from the people who were from fans and from media analysts alike, it wasn't difficult to find out to see why the Jets picked Sauce first. I think they wanted to have this guy as a shutdown. He's their Richard Sherman in this defense. He's going to be the Richard Sherman in this defense, like he was back in like Salah had back in San Francisco when he was a DC. Sherman was that shutdown guy that nobody ever threw to, and now the Jets have that, and that I was actually pretty happy that we got him. But I got to play this first before we move on to the next pick. I just got to make sure we know who got selected first in the by the Jets.
I like that.
Sauce. So Robert Saleh was obviously
enthusiasm.
excited. Exactly. You know, I put I think I don't know if you guys saw on what I wrote on Twitter, but I said, you know, every pick the Jets made, they celebrated. Like they acted. It was just such a high energy room. Like everybody was excited, from coach to Joe Douglas to Coach Saleh to even Woody, Mr. Owner himself, Woody and Chris Johnson. They were excited too. They were happy to have every single player there. And I don't know if you guys had a chance to see Woody Johnson talking with Sauce Gardner about what Sauce puts in his sauce bottle.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
That's pretty funny.
That was pretty funny.
Love the pick. Was just couldn't be more thrilled to have Sauce.
Yeah, I loved it too. I do have a question for you guys. How do the cornerbacks match up now? Is DJ Reed going to be starting opposite Sauce here, or do you think Bryce Hall gets to start?
No. Hall will be more of a
Bryce Hall gets pushed back to CB4. No, Hall's too tall for the nickel. No, he's going to push back to CB4. Nickel. MC, it's going to be Sauce, DJ Reed, and then MC2 as our base starters, with probably Hall and Eccles battling for the top backup spot.
Which is great depth, in my opinion. I mean, Bryce Hall played really, really well last year.
Oh, it's fantastic depth. I mean, you got Bryce Hall, who had a sneaky good season, just doesn't get interceptions really because he doesn't turn his head around, a la Kyle Wilson in that way a little bit. But and then Brandon Eccles is literally an athletic freak of nature that just needs to continue to get reps and learn the position. And I mean, that's high end depth right there. I'm really more concerned. I'm really more interested to see how they deploy them. Are they going to relegate them to one side of the field, or are they going to let them follow whoever their man go back and forth?
And I'm so excited for the youth of this secondary. I mean, LaMarcus Joyner, he's the old head of the group, and I think he's like 29 or 30.
He's 32.
Joyner, is he?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I thought I saw it the other day and it said he was like 30 or something like that. Either way, I mean, he's obviously not going to be around for a long time, but this defensive back, the core, is so young.
He's 31.
31. Okay, we split the difference then.
But yeah, look at the age of every single corner on this team. Michael Carter, MC2, 23. Isaiah Dunn, 23. Brendan Eccles, 24. Javelin Guidry, 23. Bryce Hall, 24. Justin Hardy, another old man in the group, 28. Jason Pinnock, 22. DJ Reed, 25. Rashad Wild Goose, who I suspect is probably going to be a practice player, 22. But it's awesome having all this youth here that can develop, that can grow together, that can be the best. They can be an elite group in the next two seasons, maybe 3 seasons. If not, if they make the leap forward this year with DJ Reed in the lineup and Sauce Gardner in the lineup, this could be an elite group this year.
Right off Jump Street, this could be elite. I mean, if DJ Reed plays like he played last season and continues that play moving forward, and Sauce becomes the Sauce that we all think he's going to be, that's damn near 2 lockdown corners that you have right there, with MC2 continuing to grow in the slot. I mean, who is, average, but for a rookie to be average is spectacular. So you got to build upon average. That's awesome. I mean, that's just awesome.
Especially for where he was drafted.
Yeah.
For a 4th round rookie to be average is amazing.
Yeah,
thanks.
For real.
Yeah, thanks, New York Giants. Thanks.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah. No, I'm thrilled for this, for the secondary.
Thanks, Dan. Yeah, thanks, Dan Gettleman.
Dave Gettleman.
Sorry, Dave Gettleman. The D name. I was close. All right, so move a little bit further into the night at pick 10. The Jets select at round 1, pick 10, Garrett Wilson, wide receiver, Ohio State University. I can't. So if I just say Ohio State University, I'll get yelled at. I just say the Ohio State University. So, Kyle, I'm going to hand this over to you. I called this, by the way. Garrett Wilson was my mock draft, so I got that one. At least got that one right.
That's true.
But Kyle, what's your thought on the pick, Garrett Wilson here?
Yeah, I love it. Like I said, I thought I had some strange feeling that they were going to go with Drake London for some reason. I'm very, very glad that Atlanta took them and didn't give them the chance to mess that pick up. Although I don't know that they would have, but yeah, I love Garrett Wilson here. Extremely fast guy. Part of me really wanted them to go Jameson Williams, though. I just think he has the potential to be a better pro throughout his career. So I think that Garrett he was my 2nd ranked wide receiver in this class, but I mean, I'm not going to complain. I'm really happy with the pick.
Yeah, as am I. I think, Dan, would you agree?
Oh, absolutely.
Good pick.
Absolutely. I mean, I had Garrett Wilson as my wide receiver 2 behind Jameson Williams, because I wanted flat out dominant speed is what I wanted in Jameson Williams, and the elite yak ability. So that's why Jameson Williams was my number 1. But I mean, Garrett Wilson has those things as well. It's not like he's slow and lumbering and can't handle that. I mean, he ran a 4.38 at just a hair under 6 foot. So he's got the speed, he's got the yak ability, and he's definitely a perfect fit for what they're going to ask of him to do, which is to open up the all 3 levels of the field to kind of keep the defenses honest, and let the running game kind of start taking more charge, to allow Wilson Zach to get in more of a rhythm and have more favorable looks. So I think Garrett Wilson was an excellent pick, and I'm thrilled he's a New York Jet, and he looks to have, I don't know if he has all pro superstar total potential, but I definitely he can definitely be a weapon that could be utilized in many, many different ways to go along with Elijah Moore and Braxton Berrios. The versatility that all 3 of those guys have, and their abilities and what they're able to do, is just going to we may have the most fun playbook in the entire league. No joke, Mike LaFleur is going to have so much fun figuring out ways to get all these guys open in all these different facets. The playbook is going to be insanity, and I can't wait to see them get deployed.
As long as he's still in the booth.
Yeah, stay in the booth, LaFleur.
Yeah, for real. I don't think there's any chance of him coming back down to the field ever again.
No. I absolutely love this pick for certain reasons. I would have also loved to have Jameson Williams here because of his blinding speed, but he's still coming off the ACL injury, and I know we talked about it in the mock draft, but to me, you want somebody who's going to help Zach Wilson now. You're going to want to have somebody who can take the top off the defense and just explode for long pass plays. That's something the Jets were missing last year, with the exception of a couple plays in the Titans game. But you need someone with that kind of game breaking speed. I mean, he ran a 4.3840, which is ridiculous speed. It's one of the it was probably one. I think it was one of the fastest one of the fastest 40 speeds among wide receivers in this draft.
Probably right up there.
Yeah.
Jameson Williams said he would have broke the record if he could run it.
Yeah, I would have broken the record too if I was like about 150 pounds lighter too, but that's another story. But no, this is going to be a fun offense to watch next year, just with the addition of Garrett Wilson. You got Wilson to throw into Wilson. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I agree. And I have a similar question for the wide receivers as I did for the cornerbacks. How do you see these guys lining up? Do you think Corey Davis would be the most beneficial being in the slot?
No,
out wide.
No,
because Elijah Moore ran a lot better out wide than he did in the slot last year.
I think Garrett Wilson's going to run the slot, to be honest with you. I think we're going to see Garrett.
And Barrios is going to be that gadget guy.
Yeah, I think we're going to see. I think honestly, you're going to see Corey Davis at X. We're going to see Elijah at Z, and we're going to see, what's it called? We're going to see Garrett Wilson probably in the slot quite a bit. That's kind of the way I envision things. But the good thing, Corey Davis don't play the slot. That's not up to his skill set. He's strictly an outside wide receiver with his height and weight. He's got to stay at the X position. So I see that's the good thing about Garrett Wilson though, is he could play. Garrett Wilson's like Elijah Moore in the fact that they theoretically could play all three positions, even though they're slightly smaller, where you want your X guy to be more of a bigger, taller guy. Ideally, it's what you want Denzel Mims to be.
Right.
If ideally we would love for Denzel Mims to somehow just have a resurgence and become our X receiver of the future. That big, tall, speedy guy who can do contested catches and, that kind of thing. But I definitely see Garrett Wilson probably playing in the slot quite a bit more so that they can utilize his fast twitch releases and his yak ability. And that's kind of how I see it.
And the fact that the Jets picked up Wilson kind of just put to rest the whole Deebo Samuel thing. I know we talked about it before we went into our mock drafts the last episode. Reportedly, the Jets were willing to give up pick 10 and a 5th rounder for Deebo Samuel. And the 49ers obviously wanted a lot more.
No, they wanted the 2nd rounder back from the 49ers with Deebo.
Oh, okay. I saw differently from Brian Costello from New York Post. I must have read that wrong then, but still.
Yeah, it was 10th and the 5th rounder for Deebo and San Francisco 2nd. So they wanted the pick swap, and San Francisco didn't want to do the pick swap. San Francisco wanted to keep the 2nd rounder and get rid of Deebo. That was equivalent to the 13th overall pick, the way the points layered out, and San Fran wanted more.
Right.
Well, have fun with that situation. So
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Pretty much enjoy trading them during the offseason and not having the assets to use till next draft.
Yep. Sorry, John Lynch.
Or potentially him sitting out this whole year.
Yep, you had your chance. And we turn to another Le'Veon Bell situation.
Yeah, at least until week 10. And then he comes back so he can get his accrued season in. All
right. So moving on from here. Get into a little bit later in the night. We see some fun picks. Going. We get to the 20s. We actually get to the 20s, and Buffalo is there. Jermaine Johnson's name is still out there. Buffalo's on the clock. I would have been physically ill if Jermaine Johnson went to the Bills and was the edge rusher alongside Von Miller. I would have been physically ill. Thankfully, they didn't take him. They took Elam from Florida. Dallas is on the clock. They take a tackle who commits too many holding penalties. And then something interesting happens. The New York Jets are back on the clock because of a trade that sent the 35 and I think 100 and 101.
It was 30. It was 35, 69, and 163 for 26 and 101.
We could have had so much fun with 69. Dang.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Opportunity squandered.
Well, it might have been. But Jets trade back into the first round. And their selection, Jermaine Johnson, defensive end, edge from Florida State. Dan, I know you're dragging at that point. As we were pretty much all were at this point in the night. Give us your feeling about what about this pick.
Oh, I mean, they hit it out of the park. I mean, this was, they did great with Sauce. They did great with Garrett. I mean, if that was all they came away with, we would have called this a successful first round. They would have infused a lot of talent, but then a lot of talk is like, well, what do the Jets do in round two? Just, do they take one of the edges that fall? Joe Douglas says, screw that. Like, I'm not sitting back. I'm not waiting. We've been hoarding all this capital for this reason, and that's to make sure I can go get my guys. And he jumps up, finds a willing trade partner all the way at 26, no less. I mean, he said he was trying for 15 on, and finally got somebody willing to take the deal at 26. So it's just pure dumb luck that the rest of the NFL decided to skip over him for whatever the myriad of reasons that they may have had, character, a non-scheme fit, age, who gives a shit, really. Ultimately, it worked out so well in the Jets' favor for Jermaine Johnson to come in, because this dude is a absolute monster. I mean, we're talking, 6'4.5", 260 pounds with 35-inch arms, and just
4.58 speed.
4.5, yeah, right, exactly. 4.58 speed to go along with somebody that's six, like I said, 6'4.5" and 260 pounds with that kind of length, bro. That's damn near an edge rusher you'd want to build in a lab if you can do it, So, and he's a perfect fit for the wide nine because he has the speed, he has the power, he has the bend. That's his game. That's what he does. So, to be in a wide nine scheme like what Robert Saleh is going to deploy, I mean, he's gonna absolutely feast on right tackles. Like there's not going to be many, if any, right tackles in the league. They're going to be able to consistently handle his speed to go along with his power, to go along with his move repertoire. That's the other thing too. He has hands down the best pass rush move repertoire of anybody else in this draft. Better than Hutch, better than KT, better than Mafe, better than Ebiketie, better than Walker. He has the tools down. The downside is, took him a little while to get where he is. So he's slightly older prospect. He's 23, going almost 24 when the season starts. And yeah, I mean, there's
put him in a home right now.
Yeah, right. Yeah, God forbid. And then he has a little bit of character concerns, the way he had to come up and do what he did. Word on the street was he didn't interview well with a lot of teams. His personality put some people off, but clearly Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh didn't feel that way whatsoever. And I mean, that was this, to me, I don't see how you call that not the steal of the first round. Like, I just don't see it. I mean, he was the 8th ranked player on the Jets board, or, they call it in the top 8, but you got to figure he's probably the 8th ranked player on that board. So to get 3 of your guys in the top 8 at 4, 10, and 26, I mean, that's an A+. That's an A+. And that's why we hoarded all this draft capital between Jamal Adams and Sam Darnold and all these Chris Herndon and all these little deals that were made by Trader Joe to allow us to make a move like this without sacrificing, at other spots. And it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I'm thrilled to have him. And he's gonna just destroy. He's gonna destroy worlds.
Kyle?
Yeah, I'm definitely. I concur. I'm very excited about the pick. I had a couple of friends asking me if I was nervous why he was falling, like while he was falling, like during the teens and the early 20s and stuff like that. They're like, "Why do you think he's falling? Like, do you think something happened? Like, did something come up in his medicals or something like that?" And I'm like, I'm actually not that worried, considering there's no other like edge guys that were supposed to be drafted after him getting drafted before him right now. It just seemed like people stopped drafting edge for whatever reason at that point in the draft. So I was happy to see him fall. And ever since pick 20, I was like, come on, Jets, come back up and get this guy. And luckily they did 6 picks later.
Yeah, I was praying that would happen. I said, why didn't they take him at 10? Why did they take him at 10? Well, apparently there's a plan in place to try to go back into the first round, which Joe Douglas pulled off. Because, as you know, gentlemen, Trader Joe's, it's always open. Always open.
It's always open.
And they played that clip on Jets Twitter saying, "Yeah, we're on the effing." He hangs the phone to Titans. He says, "We're on the effing clock. We're on the effing clock." And he hugs Salah. It was like, oh.
I would kill to be able to be in a draft room just one year. I want to know what goes on in that room. I want to see the draft board. I want to know all the negotiations between picks. I would love to be there.
That would have been, if I was a Make-A-Wish kid, that would have been my wish.
Yeah.
Right? How amazing would that have been? Just to be in that Jets draft room.
That would just be a dream, absolute dream come true.
Oh, with all that energy, as I mentioned before, I said, just seeing everybody get their, just everybody in that room just elated that they got their guys. You just know something good is happening at One Jets Drive in Florham Park, New Jersey.
Truth. It feels different. Like everything just feels, between last year and this year, like it just feels different. Like there's just the aura and the energy around the team is just way different than years past. And it's blatantly obvious to anybody that actually takes a chance, that actually takes a look. And I think this is going to be, this draft right here, if it all comes to fruition, is going to be the one where we're really going to be able to say, like, this is where Joe Douglas finally put a stamp and said, this is now officially my squad. Like, this is it. Like the mistakes of GM's past is now officially wiped out. There's not a single starter from the 2019 offense that's still even on this team.
And that's the insane part. It's to see the turnover that happened from 2019 all the way up till now, seeing the potential starters on this team and the lineup they're going to have, not just starters, but also depth. The depth they have at quarterback and running back and wide receiver and offensive line, tight end, which we'll get to in a couple minutes. But this is not only just a shift in better talent, but also a shift in culture because of what Salah's put in place as a coach, what Douglas has put in place as GM, and what they're expecting to do with a lot of these players and how they're going to make this team, I say within the next two seasons, a playoff contender.
I think, I don't even think you can say within 2 seasons. I think you gotta, there's no playoff mandate on this season. This season's just like, take this, like, let Zach take the step, let everybody kind of continue to buy into the system and everything like that, and just be competitive towards the end of the year. I mean,
the playoffs would be a pleasant surprise.
Right, sure. Exactly. Like if you make the playoffs, that'd be excellent because the AFC is loaded. So in order for the Jets to somehow squeak in at the 6th or 7th seed would be incredible, but it's not the expectation for this year. It's just be playing meaningful games towards the end of the year. Have week 15 and 16 and 17 actually mean something. Be in the hunt.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's the graphic I want to see to consider it a success. Is I just want to see New York Jets in the hunt in December.
Right, exactly. And that's all you want to see them win some freaking games in September, which will allow them to be in the hunt come December. That's all we want to see from this. I mean, that's what most realistic Jets fans should want to see going into next year. And then 2023, that's when, all right, now you gotta
we're playoffs now.
Yeah, now you gotta actually you gotta stop the drought, because if we don't make it this year, it'll be 12 years going, and then now you gotta stop the drought. Like now you gotta get over the hump. And you can't Marvin Lewis it either. You can't just get there and then stop.
No.
You can't
get in and then
you gotta keep it going, right? You gotta keep it going.
No, I've seen a bunch of fans on Twitter already kind of saying, okay, this roster is built now. Zach Wilson gets 2 years. If Zach Wilson can't put it together and take this team to the playoffs in 2 years, then we will find a competent veteran quarterback that will take us there.
This is a big season for Zach. Because there's literally no excuses regarding his talent level that he can use at this point, barring massive injury luck, knock on wood, or unluck. I don't know the word for it.
Misfortune.
Okay, that'll work. Thank you. Barring massive injury misfortune again for the Jets, that he doesn't have the built-in excuses. Like, you have a wide receiver corps that's deep and talented. You have running backs who we'll start talking about here shortly that are insanely talented and perfect fits for what you need to do. You have a tight end room that is completely revamped and can do anything and everything from blocking to seam to running the seam to running in the flats to just in the red zone. So it's all on Zach. And if the Jets falter because of Zach, it would not surprise me to see them move on after the season, because 2023 is absolutely loaded with quarterbacks. I mean, loaded. I don't know if you guys I've already done 3 2023 mock drafts myself because, again, I'm insane. But
because you need a hobby.
Because I need a hobby. But it's loaded. Like, there's legitimately 6 quarterbacks that could go in the first round next year, and then deservedly so. So, I mean, like, it's there's a lot riding on Zach for this. Like, they will not. I don't think Joe Douglas or Robert Saleh will hesitate if Zach falters and fails with all the talent around him, and they end up with a decent pick next year to say, you know what, we're washing our hands of you. We'll trade you for a conditional 4th or 5th to get you off the roster, and we're grabbing, this player right here. Depending on whatever pick we're at next year, if it's high up there. Because literally, like, there's probably going to be 4 quarterbacks that go in the top 8 or 10 next year, easy.
Well, it's funny you say move on from Zach Wilson if he doesn't do the job this year in 2023. Well, funny enough, there's another BYU quarterback who's one of the top NFL prospects for 2023 in Jaron Hall. So
it's true. Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson, Tyler Van Dyke. I mean, it's a
Rattler.
It's a loaded. There's a lot of loaded ability. If they all play up to their potential, college football is going to be fun as hell to watch next year. And I mean, Zach's just got to come through, man. Zach's got to come through. I mean, it sucks to feel like he only has kind of a 2-year leash, if you will. I mean, you gave him the pass on the rookie season. It is what it is. But if everybody stays healthy, Zach's gotta be a minimum. I think minimum Zach's gotta be at 3,200 yards and probably 20 touchdowns and at least a 2-to-1, touchdown to interception ratio. I think that's got to be the bare minimum to be expected with this roster.
Yeah, and the first 3 picks of this draft make the team exponentially better. But then we move on to Friday, and that's where things get really interesting, because again, Trader Joe's, it's always open. They move up from 38 to 36. Now they had traded the 35 away to Tennessee, but they trade spots with their crosstown brethren in the New York Giants, and they select out of Iowa State running back Breece Hall. Now, I give myself pause for a second because I was kind of curious at the pick. I wasn't sure if this was just a roster move just exclusively for depth, or if they were trying to beat some other team to the punch. But as it turns out, Breece Hall is Dan Goldstein's daddy.
True.
So, Kyle, I'm going to talk to you first. What did you think when you saw that pick? What were your thoughts?
Well, when I first saw it, I was just like, "Wow, this dude looks exactly like Dan," and and I was like, "They might be related." No, when I had first seen it, like going into the second round, I was talking to a couple of my friends, and I was like, "I hear some rumors that they might take Breece Hall." I was like, "I think it's a luxury pick. It really feels like a luxury pick."
Yeah,
I don't know that the Jets should be making luxury picks. I'd love it if they grabbed a linebacker. Yeah, I was part of the linebacker group that thought a linebacker was necessary. However, they made the pick. I'm happy about the pick. I'm very, very excited to see this man play football. His spin move is maybe the most flawless, like smoothest spin move I've ever seen. Yeah. I don't know if smoothest is a word, but
it's like watching a figure skater. It's ridiculous.
It's beautiful, for the lack of a better term. It's beautiful, and I'm very, very excited to see him do that in green and white.
As am I. I watched Baldy's breakdown of. I told you guys to watch on text. I said, watch Baldy's breakdown of Breece Hall," and I watched it, and now I get it, and now I understand why. Because initially, when I was on Belly Up Sports' draft, a draft show going live, seems like every guy there was kind of like, why are they just making this pick? Why are they just making this pick? Then I watched all these breakdowns, and now I know why they make the pick. So Dan, I'm turning into a man here. Dan, obviously you are a big fan of the pick, judging from your name right there. What was your reaction to Breece Hall being taken at 36?
I mean, it was so far out of left field because, Michael Carter was great for what he did last season, and you didn't think you needed to really improve upon him. I think you just kind of hoping the Jets would compliment on him. So me and pretty much, I imagine 99.9% of Jets fans expected a day 3 running back that would just complement his skill set. But there was no doubt that Breece Hall is hands down the running back 1 of this class, and he has everything in his arsenal. He is a flawless prospect as a running back. There is no weakness to his game. And in years past, Breece Hall would have been a top 5 pick before the running back got devalued by the modern NFL.
100%.
So, this dude is an absolute monster. I mean, we're talking. How tall is he? He's 5'11", I think.
5'11",
5'11", yeah, 5'11",
he's
217.
5'11", 217, runs a 4.3940 at
100th slower, just a hair slower than Garrett Wilson.
Right, and with 20, almost 30 pounds heavier than Garrett Wilson. Almost 30 pounds heavier than Garrett Wilson. Actually, no, he is 30 pounds heavier. Never mind, with almost 40 pounds heavier than Garrett Wilson. He's 35 pounds heavier than Garrett Wilson with a 10th slower at slightly shorter. I mean, the dude's a monster. His vision, his patience, his pass blocking, his hands, his footwork, his cut ability, it's top notch. It's absolutely top notch. He has the patience of prime Le'Veon Bell. He has the hands of prime Le'Veon Bell. He has the speed of Derrick Henry. He has the vision of Jonathan Taylor. I mean, if you were to build, I'm going to go back to the analogy again. If you were going to build a running back in a lab, what you would come out with is Breece Hall. Like, that's what you would come out with. You would come out with a guy that is an absolute monster between the tackles, in the zone, through the gaps, on the wide. He can outrun you into the corner. He can bully you through, up to the A gap, the B gap, whatever it is that you're trying to stop him. He can juke you out of your shoes. I mean, he's not quite Barry Sanders, let's be serious. But I mean, if you watch some of the highlights, I mean, his start-stop ability is second to none. It's second to none. I mean, I am 100% confident in this, that Breece Hall is going to be a top 3 running back in this league by the end of his second season. He will be a top 3 running back in this league. And now to have Michael Carter be able to come in for his 10, 12, 13 carries, 13 touches a game to help spell him. I mean, how do you stop them? I just don't see it. Behind the offensive line that Joe Douglas and the Jets have put together, it's just going to be insane. It's going to be insane. And he's I don't know if I consider it a luxury. It was more of just like, you didn't expect them to try and upgrade it this heavy. You knew the Jets were going to take a running back, but again, you just figured it was going to be a day 3 guy that's more of a compliment to Michael Carter, a Dameon Pierce type guy, or a Pierre Strong kind of player.
Or Wilson's teammate from BYU,
right? Or Algier, exactly, Algier, just a big body guy that could come in and do what Michael Carter can't, which is run between the tackles and the short yardage stuff. But they said, no, we're not doing that. Like, we're not doing that. Like, we're just gonna go ahead and get the de facto number 1 guy, and that can do anything and everything, and can hit the ground running right as the start of the season goes. And I mean, he's gonna beast. Like, there's just no other way around it. Like, if you're playing fantasy football this year, you should absolutely be taking Breece Hall in the second round of your drafts. 100%. And you're gonna look like a hero for doing so. I predict Breece Hall probably runs for over 1,100 yards this season.
Wow.
Yeah, I had a little I guess, conversation with somebody on Twitter, and they said that the Jets desperately need to grab a 1A running back. And I heavily disagreed. And I was like, I don't think that they desperately need to do that. I think that they can just grab somebody to pair up with Michael Carter and be Michael Carter's 1B, essentially. And I figured that they would do that with the day 3 pick. And this guy's like, no, 100%. They need to grab a 1A. And I don't think they grabbed a 1A. I think they grabbed a 1.
No, they grabbed the 1. Yeah, he's not. This is probably going to be somewhere in the range of a 60, 65, 35, 60, 40 split, where Brees is going to get 60% of the carries, and Tevin Coleman and Michael Carter are going to battle out for the remaining 35 to 40% of the carries and snaps that's left over. But that'll keep everybody fresh. That'll allow Brees Hall to continue punishing people well into the fourth quarter. And that'll allow Michael Carter to flourish as in his role. I mean, you saw what he did with Javonte Williams at UNC. He was the 1B to Javonte Williams 1A, and they both were the top rushers in college football because they were both so able to handle their roles. And now there's no reason to think he can't continue that and even do even more. I think Michael Carter, by getting Brees Hall, I think Michael Carter is a big winner from this weekend. I really do. I think he should be thrilled that he's going to be able to just thrive within his role and be a security blanket in the passing game, and just really be able to continue to run for his 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 yards a clip, and that he was able to, while Brees just pounds it. It was unexpected, but absolutely fantastic pick. Fantastic.
Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense. I was really happy that you brought up how good he is in pass protection as well, because they don't have to take him off the field in those passing downs, and he's a legitimate threat in receiving as well. He can do it all, so it doesn't let the defense cheat either when he leaves the field.
No, you can't. You're going to have to account for everybody on the field now. That's what I mean. Like, that's why Zach has no excuses. You have the personnel set up with the Jets do, where you have Moore, Davis, and Wilson out wide, and then Brees in the backfield, and then Uzama and Conklin, on there with the O-line. I mean, how do you stack the box? First and foremost,
they can run 12 personnel. They can run 21 personnel. They can do whatever they want.
Bro, when the pick we're about to talk about after, theoretically, they could try and run 13 personnel if they wanted to.
Yeah, no joke.
Well, speaking of that pick,
segue right into it.
We're going later into Friday night, and I'm barely awake at this point for myself because I'm waiting for 101 here. And now I was curious to see what was going to happen here. Would the Jets pick a linebacker? Would they pick a safety? Because it's two positions we talked about that they kind of needed. But instead, they go ahead and pick from the Ohio State University, the second pick up from the Ohio State University, tight end Jeremy Ruckert from Long Island, Strong Island zone, Kyle Ruckert. And a boyhood dream comes true for Jeremy Ruckert. Jeremy Ruckert here gets the pick. Dan, I'm gonna slide this over to you. What do you make of this pick?
Oh, I mean, excuse me. When you're in an offense like Ohio State's, where you have Garrett Wilson and you have Chris Olave and Jackson Smith-Njigba, who is going to be a guaranteed top 10 pick next year's draft as well, there's just not going to be a lot of opportunity for a tight end to really show what their ability is in the passing game. But luckily for us, that allowed him to absolutely learn his craft in pass and run blocking and become dominant in that facet already. He's going to be coming into the NFL as a dominant run blocker and a damn near close dominant pass blocker. There's a little bit of technique issues he has to fix with that, but he's, as a rookie tight end coming in, the one thing you have that they normally struggle with is the blocking aspect of the position, and he's already NFL ready in that facade. The issue is we just didn't get to see a lot of production in the passing game because he wasn't needed. Yeah. You just didn't need it. But what you did see when there were highlights of him was he's actually spectacular at it. I mean, he's spectacular at it. If he was at a school like that like, let's use Trey McBride as the example. If he would have went to a school
University or University of Iowa, where they produce
right,
tight ends like Wisconsin produces centers.
exactly. Like if he was at a school that would have utilized that didn't have the receiving talent that Ohio State did and would have had to rely on him more, he would not have been available at the spot. I mean, Jeremy Ruckert would have been a second round pick all day long, potentially even sneaking into the first because he's big, he's fast, he's got great hands, he's got great ability to stretch the seam. He's actually very good at route running. I mean, as good as a 6'5", 260 guy can be in that regard. So he's going to be a tight end one, and he's going to be a dominant tight end one after Uzama and Conklin are no longer part of this team. That was more of a luxury pick than Breece Hall was, but it was a smart pick because you don't have to rush a rookie tight end now into playing time where they're usually not ready. I mean, besides quarterback, tight end is the most difficult position to transition to in the NFL because the responsibilities you have is tremendous when learning how to line up in line at the F, at the H back, in this, within the slot for some of these guys, then pass blocking, then run blocking. I mean, you have to know how to do everything, and it's a lot. So be able to let him be able to sit back and learn behind Conklin and Uzama while being able to throw him in the red zone, let him get some reps towards the end of games. He's going to be dominant. He's going to be stupidly good. He's going to be stupidly good. I mean, he has 70, 80, 90 catch, 1,000-yard potential as a standalone tight end. And I'm so happy that and then just the fact he was a Jets fan growing up from Lindenhurst, Long Island. He has that extra, he just has that extra motivation now to want to give the Jets everything. So if he was only going to give the other team 95%, he's definitely going to give the Jets 100 because he gets to play the childhood dream.
I don't know who's more excited, him or his dad.
It's an amazing story. It's an awesome story. I'm thrilled for the family. Those videos are great. To see that the Jets actually took him. I mean, it was just spectacular. It's just spectacular, and he's gonna be good. He was right there with Trey McBride as my favorite tight end in this draft. So to get him outside the top 100, again, it was just another home run in just a sea of home run picks by Joe Douglas.
Yeah, and you alluded to it. You said it seemed like kind of a luxury pick with Uzama and Conklin being signed to contracts this offseason. But I looked at the numbers on Spot Track, and the Jets have the option. They basically what they are is they have 2-year contracts for both Uzama and for Conklin. They have an out in year 3. So what you can do is that you can develop Ruckert in year 1 to be essentially a blocker in a 2 tight end set, but also help him develop his ability to run routes and to be better off the ball when it comes to being a pass catching tight end. And by year 2, he's a starter. And in year 3, you can let one of them. You can not exercise the option. You can choose not to exercise the option for either Conklin or Uzama, and Ruckert's your default starter by the time it's year 3 of Ruckert's contract. And and of course I had to see a tweet by Rich Samiti that turned the punch bowl this entire thing because he's so negative about the Jets sometimes. He says that was my only quibble. The Jets didn't need a tight end. I'm like, are you kidding me?
It's the perfect time to draft a tight end.
It's how smart teams continually build up their talent. You take guys and you put them in the pipeline when you don't need them, so you don't have to rush them in. It was spectacular.
Exactly.
It was spectacular. I mean, and anybody that actually and it's not Jets bias that's saying that. I mean, it's just being a football fan. You understand that you keep players in your pipeline so that when you need to get rid of those bigger money contracts, you have the younger guys on their rookie deals that can step in with little to no loss of performance or even, better performance for cheaper. It was an excellent move. And, and It's exactly what's going to happen. By year 3, he's going to be the de facto starter. I imagine Uzama's probably going to be gone because he'll be in his 30s by that point. Conklin's a little younger. So, maybe they exercise Conklin. Uzama's probably gone by that point. Plus, Uzama has an injury history. Right. Uzama has an injury history. He's not a healthy guy, and he's not young. He's already 29, for the tight end position. So, and theoretically, he's not like a spectacular tight end. I mean, he's never had like a dominant type season. Yeah, he's a perfect security blanket, but he has injury problems.
Yeah, and Rucker has the ability. I hate using these comparisons, even though they use a similar system. Rucker has the potential to be the George Kittle of the New York Jets.
I mean, yeah,
play that position.
He's not as fast and athletic as George Kittle, but besides that, he
has the ability. He has the blocking ability. He has a pass catching ability. He can run routes pretty well. Those things So Kyle, I don't mean to step in here, but Kyle, what was your reaction to this pick of Jeremy Rucker by the Jets?
Well, as a kid who wore the same exact Jets fake uniform thing that he had on, I'm pretty sure I either had Curtis Martin or I had Keyshawn Johnson when I was a kid. I can't remember exactly which one I had. But I definitely had one of them, so I can definitely. I'm very excited for him as a Jets fan that he gets to, like Dan said, live the dream, and actually go up and play for his favorite team growing up. My cousin actually just this past year got drafted by his favorite MLB team, the Braves. And so just knowing somebody who's actually living the dream like that, it's amazing. I'm extremely happy for him and his dad. I think his dad is going to be pumped to be at all the games with him.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And this is what the Ravens do. Teams like the Ravens do stuff like this all the time, and nobody really bats an eye because good teams stay good, right? But the Jets are drafting with that philosophy right now, even though they're not technically like a good team yet.
That's going to change. That's going to change. Yeah, but here's the thing. Here's a cool thing about what happened for the first 5 picks of the draft. The Jets get the top corner, top defensive back, arguably. I mean, you can say stuff about
Stingley was my top. He was my top guy for sure.
I mean, you could say Stingley wasn't in the conversation, but Stingley has injury concerns. But top corner, arguably the top wide receiver. Williams being considered the top wide receiver, but again, injury not be able to help right away. You get top 4 edge. You get the top running back, and you get top 5 tight end. So that's your first 5 picks of the draft.
Better than top 5. He was the second tight end. He was the third tight end taken off the board, right? I think it was McBride, then it was Jelani Woods, and then it was Rucker.
Right.
So I mean, but for most people, after toward coming up towards the end of the draft, for most experts, Jeremy Ruckert was number 2, right behind Trey McBride, and for some like Chris Sims, he was even number 1. So I mean, it was an excellent pick. It was an excellent pick, and the story behind it just makes it that much cooler.
And don't forget the fact that Ruckert played for Rod Middleton in the Senior Bowl. So he had some familiarity there, which is great.
Yeah, it all